Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and a continuing series on Atomiswave to Dreamcast Sports, because it seems like we get a new one every other day at this point in time. And today we're taking a look at Dirty Pigskin Football, which is somehow a really good game for being a pretty terrible game. But before we get too far involved, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell with the same intensity that guy just got drop-kicked. And if you feel so inclined, we got a Patreon link down there as well if you want to support the channel, because it takes a lot of time and effort. But Dirty Pigskin Football is basically a complete copy job of NFL Blitz, except mechanically it's not as good, but thematically it makes me laugh just a little bit more. And I did see this in arcades originally, but I never played it because why would I play this versus NFL Blitz? It was so good. But I will say, as a two-player game, there is a lot of fun to be had in this, especially if you have a few friends over, you get a few drinks in you. There is a lot of entertainment value. And you'll see here that the game's definitely not trying to play anything seriously, because we have zombies, we have criminals, we have aliens, we have a definite Hulk Hogan ripoff. And I went with the Chicago Hitmen. Well, I don't know if they're from Chicago, I'm just saying that's where they're from because that's where I'm from. But you can definitely tell as soon as you get to the first stage intro that this is pushing it to 11 as far as the absurdity factor is concerned. Because NFL Blitz, the games took place in real stadiums, people were wearing football helmets and pads. This is just completely throwing all that to the side and going for a straight comedy feel. But as far as how the game plays, if you've ever played an arcade football game before, you're going to know exactly how it works. Now, I will say that the move set in this game, or the play calling, is pretty limited, and I've already thrown an interception, and the football's a brain, not a football, and it does have a lot of fun touches like that. But there's really only 5 plays you can call for your team, so it's going to get pretty repetitive pretty quickly if you're playing against the CPU. Now, I will say I tested this on an original Dreamcast and through emulation, and you can't hear it because I fixed it, but the audio in this game is just having a lot of issues, and I don't think that's down to the conversion to Dreamcast. I think it's just part of how they made the game. The music only seems to come through the left channel, the sound effects come through the right channel. Now, I merged those two channels down into one, so you're getting stereo music and sound effects on both speakers, but if you're playing this on your Dreamcast or emulating it in an arcade cabinet and you have audio issues, I think that's just how it works. But I'm not really surprised. This game feels like it's kind of falling apart at the seams. All the screen transitions and everything else are pretty janky, but it works and it's fun, and I scored a touchdown, and now I'm going to be able to strut my stuff. Jorge here, which isn't really an Italian mafia name, but let's just go with it. But it's still a fun game, and it's still great to have these games over on Dreamcast, because this is something you weren't going to play anywhere else other than Atomiswave, and this isn't a cart that you're going to see that often or you're probably going to want to collect for. So to be able to just pop this onto your Dreamcast or to emulate it for free and check it out for 10 or 20 minutes is a really great thing. And like I said, if you have some friends around and you want to play it with them, then it's going to become a lot more fun, because this is the type of thing you're going to laugh about, you're going to play it, you're going to enjoy it, and then when you want to put it down, you're just done with it. This isn't the type of arcade game that I would collect and keep in my closet. It would take up space, and I don't think it would get brought out very often whatsoever, but it's great to have another Dreamcast game available to us in fall of 2020, especially one that was never ported to any other platform. And I do really like these intros. You can tell they had a lot of fun making the game. Unfortunately, the least amount of effort seems to actually have gone into the gameplay. And like I said, this isn't a good game, it's a fine game, but it's fun to play, it's fun to laugh at, and if you have somebody else playing with you, it's entertaining because you're laughing and yelling at each other and playing against them. Because I will say, in the later rounds of the tournament, that CPU just basically becomes undefeatable. I've played this a few different times, and I've only ever won 1, maybe 2 matches at the most, and once you get to the 3rd and 4th match, the game becomes basically unwinnable. But it doesn't really matter, because you can continue whether you win or lose. I win a game, I still have to put a credit in virtually or hit start on free play to be able to go to the next round. So it doesn't matter if you lost in the arcades, you're going to pay the same amount of money to go through the game, whether you're a winner or whether you're a loser. Maybe if you win so many in a row, you'll get a free credit, but I've never really been able to pull that off. What I'll let you do now is just watch a little bit of the game. The sounds are fun, the effects are fun, and I'll be back in about a minute or so, and we'll close out Dirty Pigskin Football. But I just got a touchdown, and I don't know any Mafia guys that dance like that. That just seems weird.
Second down. Hut. The Hitmen win.
And hey, look at that, I won a match. And this game definitely has a weird scoring system going on because there is no point after attempt or field goal possible. If you throw a passing touchdown, you're going to get 7 points. If you run it in, you're going to get 6 points. And standard 2 points for safety. But I kind of wish they'd incorporated the field goal in there because it doesn't really feel like a fair win when we both got 1 touchdown and you just got 1 less point for the opponents because they ran it in. But now we're facing zombies, and that's definitely something that doesn't happen in football. And like I said, it's a lot of fun to be able to play a game like this at home on your Dreamcast, because this isn't something that you're able to buy on any other console and check out. And granted, would I recommend you buy it if it was available? Maybe if it was like $5-10 and it was cheap, sort of, but I wouldn't say spend too much money on it whatsoever. But now we can play it for free from the comfort of our couches. And like I said, if you have a second person playing, this game opens up a lot more because it's always more fun to play with friends, especially a game where the CPU is way too predictive and just going to beat you every single time. But I do like what they tried to do with the game, and I get it, NFL Blitz is such a popular arcade game and console game. Every other manufacturer is looking to be able to kind of prey off that success and make a little money themselves, so you can't really be surprised or blame anybody for trying to put a game like this on the Atomiswave, because it probably wasn't that expensive to make this, and they were really hoping to be able to capitalize. And I do like the super passes. Basically, as long as you're open and you hold down your turbo button or whatever yellow button it was, I can't remember what they call it, and you put the passing button, you're going to get a reception. So you can definitely use that to your advantage, even if I let them score immediately afterwards, and that's just a bummer. But you can also do some super tackles, which you're going to see here right as well, and it doesn't really change anything whatsoever. I probably shouldn't have passed, I should have run it. But he's going to come in and just take a giant chomp out of us and then give us a massive body slam. And it's just like NFL Blitz, fun to watch. It's not as creative or interesting as NFL Blitz, but they definitely still incorporated it in there. And it is just a complete NFL Blitz clone. But it's still fun in its own right, and it's something you should check out because before this, you really couldn't play it unless you found an Atomiswave cartridge. And I do love the intros here with that definitely Macho Man Randy Savage / Hulk Hogan character. Seems like arcade games loved trying to just get around copyright infringement by making people look like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, but really not. But short of that, big thanks to MegaVolt 85 again for porting these all over to the Dreamcast. I use the word port. People keep commenting saying it's wrong, and I've remarked in the videos I know that it is the same code, but port is the easiest language to use. But short of that, I will have another video on Atomiswave to Dreamcast ports on Wednesdays. Seems like that's the day I've been scheduling them. And I'll have videos on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday as well. But like I said, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love chatting with you guys and not just talking into an echo chamber. And if you really enjoyed Dirty Pigskin Football, tell me why. Short of that, I'm going to run it in for a touchdown. I didn't win this match, and that's a weird dance. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.